Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Angela Brennan and today I'm bringing you the first challenge I'm doing for the Christmas craft creations December theme, which is gnomes. Now I've not really made cards with gnomes, but I found this beautiful Spellbinders Gnome Trees die set and I thought I need to use it. I create these tree cards, but the tip that I want to show is how you do these cards without a white outline in the die cut. The main die is the gnome tree die. So you've got the gnome tree die that cuts out the details, and you've also got the outline die. It's the outline die that will give the white outline, and I didn't want to show that in my card. You also got things for the gnomes' noses, the shoes, you've got the arms of the gnomes and some lighting and bulbs, etc. I use most of the dies except for the garland or the wreath die, the small wreath die. And I use all these, I mainly use Catherine Pooler inks. I've just recently acquired them and I absolutely adore how juicy they are. And I've created swatches for them so that it's easier to put them together and see what works, the colors that work. I've got them in strips so I can see what colors go if I need a multiple. But this little squares that I have allows me to see the colors that go together. So for instance, this card, I want to have a background and I'm trying it with the crushed violet and the winter green from the Apothecary set. And then I've got other sets from the Spring Fling as well as the Carnival set where I've got the colors that I'm going to use for the gnomes itself. The whipped honey is from the Apothecary set. The garden party as well, the oh boy is from the Spring Fling set, and the samba is from the Carnival set. So it's a mixture. So while the colors are given are quite complementary, you can actually mix and match them, and I think that's really good. How I do this die cuts is I take the ink direct to paper. So I die cut and then I do it. You can either do that, but because there are so many elements of the gnomes here, I find it easier to do that. Now I start off by using ink blending brush and doing the background. Now these inks are really juicy, so it's very easy to blend. I'm using my favorite ink blending card here, which is Bristol Smooth Card, because the ink sits on top of the paper and allows the ink to be blended very easily. Now I wipe my surface because I don't want the ink contaminated, because the green is quite a light green, the winter green, and I wanted to define the background so you can see where the gnome tree starts. So there's like a base to stand, if you like. Now the reason I want to do the background first and then I'll die cut it, you'll see, is I don't like the white outline when you do a die cut. So this gnome tree, there will be some bits within the gnome tree that you can see the background as well. So if you want a dark background and then you die cut it in a white, then you will see a white outline. Now to do away with that, I use double-sided adhesive sheets. This makes the card panel thicker. So when I put through the die cut through the die cutting machine, it doesn't cut through, and that's what I want, because I don't want it to cut through. What I will do is I will put the double-sided adhesive sheet at the back of this inked card panel and then put it through my die cutting machine. Now when you put it through your die cutting machine, if you use a shim, don't use a shim here, because the idea is not to cut through the card panel, but to let there be an impression of the gnome dies. Now it comes in 2 dies here, but you want to cut the whole thing together. So you tape together with low-tack tape or washi tape. In this instance, I'm using the 2 dies together, and then you tape it onto your inked panel with the double-sided adhesive sheet at the back. So it's a slightly thicker card, if you like. Put it through your die cutting machine, and as I said, if you use a shim, don't use one because you don't want to cut through. I'm just using the normal sandwich that I use for my Gemini junior die cutting, and you will see at the back it all sticks together. That's what you want, because the idea is to take this entire bit, take the adhesive backing sheet at the back and stick it right onto a base card. That's what you want to do. And then you take another card and you die cut just the detailed gnome tree die. So you don't want the outline die, and then you can start inking it and doing whatever you want. Now, before I do that, I also do a bit of a background. I use a stencil. You can use really a star stencil or a snow stencil. This one is, I think, an Alexander Ranke snowdrop stencil. And I'm using Altenew's embossing paste. Now, when you do this, just do it in the background. Try to avoid the gnome tree because you're going to stick different colors onto it. Do a bit of paper piecing if you like. This is just to give the background a bit of texture, and it's like the gnome tree is in the snow, and where snow falling. It just gives it a bit of a wintry look. So I very carefully place the snow drops of the embossing paste on the background, and I lift it. Now that this is quite a small stencil, so I have to lift it again so I get a little bit more snowdrops. I don't want it all the way down, but just halfway through where more of the purple background is. And then I'll let it air dry. That's the element that you need to let air dry, because if you want a more mixed media look, you can dry it with and get it bubbling. So now I'm just cutting the detail bit here. Now all I want is to have the detail elements so I can start inking them with the various colors from the Catherine Pooler set colors that I showed you now. I'm going to keep the individual elements together by putting some masking paper or a huge post-it note, whatever you have handy, so that the pieces are together and therefore you know which ones go where. That's kind of how I kept it together. And then it's a matter of choosing a color palette and then putting the individual colors that you like to go. Keep the picture and the packaging handy to see which gnome pieces that you are coloring. It's pretty straightforward, but it takes a little bit of time, but I do like the result. I end up making 3 cards. The first 2 I do with inking, and the second one I use, and the third one I use pattern paper. You can do pattern paper. You can even color the individual pieces with Copics or any other coloring medium. So the way I do it is a direct to ink direct to paper method, and I use some kind of non-stick backing sheet. This is one of the big adhesive sheets, the backing. I've kept it. It's easy to clean as well. And then you take these ink pads, which are so juicy, and directly color the individual pieces. Just like that. Leave it to dry, and then you paste it onto the inked card panel where you already have the impression there, so it's just gluing it onto it. Easy peasy, just a little bit time consuming. I really hope you enjoy this technique and you enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And when you do subscribe, remember to press the notification bell so you're alerted when a new video is uploaded. I'm going to leave you with some music and I will catch you later. But remember to check out all the details of products listed in the description below, as well as on my blog. There's a step-by-step instruction on how to do this technique on my blog, and the link to my blog is in the description below. Remember, there is still time to take part in this challenge, and I've also got the link to the Christmas craft creation challenge in the description below, as well as in my blog. And do check out the other examples on how to take part in this challenge that is listed in the Christmas craft creations blog. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you later. Here's some music to keep you company. Here are the completed cards. For this first card, I use little gems for the light bulbs of the string lights, just to make it a little bit different because it's so colorful, the background. And here I also use a little sentiment at the bottom. I think it's a Christmas blessing sentiment from Simon Says Stem as the trunk of the tree. And this card, I use patterned paper, and the trunk of a tree is a little glitter heart. The patterned paper is from Catherine Pooler's monochromatic patterned paper packs. Hope you enjoyed watching this no white outline technique when die cutting. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Would give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And when you do subscribe, remember to press the notification bell so you're alerted when a new video is uploaded. Do head over to my blog. Link to my blog is in the description below. Happy crafting, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care.